Hello there guys, and welcome back to Feed the Beast, only this time it's Feed the Beast Unleashed. I finally made the move over from Ultimate, and one of the things that I wanted to do on this video, the first video, is just show you guys what I do to get started. If you watch my previous series, then you'll know when it started I actually already had a base in place, which is just a little, the workshop that I pre-constructed. Oh look, we already have some Tetris-style floating blocks here. And I'm sure most of you that watch the original series have probably figured out by now that I spawn in everything that I need, all of the materials and items I need for each individual episode. It's not something that I've ever, tried to keep secret, but it's just the way that I like to film. I also play on peaceful because there's nothing worse than having a creeper come and blow your stuff up when you are trying to demonstrate how to build something. But I never did show on my original video how I actually got started and built my initial setup, my initial workshop. So I thought just for this first video I would basically show you guys what I do. Now, one of the first things that I like to try and do is find an appropriate biome, because what I like is a nice wide open area where I've got plenty of room to build, and also I like it to be close to several other biomes. It's particularly useful if I want to demonstrate something that requires another biome, or if I'm doing something with bees, for example, because some bees are much happier in other biomes. So it's nice to be on the border of a couple actually, and I suggest whenever you're playing Minecraft, even if it's survival, it's quite important that you find a good starting area. And it's very tempting for a lot of people, if you're playing on survival with mobs, to very quickly just try and find somewhere to set up camp, pretty much as soon as it starts. And oh, that's interesting, the spawning of this building has destroyed all the flowers. So yeah, you need to spend some time and actually try and find a good starting area. Obviously at the moment I'm in creative mode, which you may not well be if you're playing survival. But the principle's still the same. Don't forget, you don't have to pick a starting area and stick with it. You can always move later on, but it is worth finding a good place to set up. I'm lingering around this area here because it is quite nice. It's mainly flat. We've got animals around, we've got water, we've got plenty of trees. Not that they're really things that I'm that worried about, as I'm not really playing on survival, because like I said, this will be my my Feed the Beast server for my tutorials. But there's lots of stuff around, including a few blocks that I hadn't seen before. So as I've always said, I'm used to Ultimate, and the majority of my experience comes from forestry, industrial craft, Greg Tech, and stuff like that. So a lot of the stuff in here is going to be new to me. I will be trying to cover a lot of the new stuff, particularly things like the Tinker's Construct mod. And I think this is quite a good little place for me to set up here in the plains. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to level off some of this area here and use this. I'm going to leave this this little structure here because it's nice and it might become useful later on. But what I'll do is I'll clear this little hill area here and fill the ground in, and I will start to make an area to build my workshop. So I'm going to get on with doing that. While I am doing it, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what I want the series to be, because I still want to do a series of tutorials, but at the same time I'm going to need to have a lot of the early and basic machines that I had in the original video. But I do want to avoid going over stuff that I've already done before. I don't see any point in going through how to build an electric furnace and a macerator and all of that stuff again, but they are things that I will need. So what I'm most likely going to end up doing is, when it comes to a point in the game where I need one of those machines, if it's one that I built in the previous series, I'll literally just spawn it in, because there's no point in, sort of building it twice. If it differs significantly from the recipe or the way it works from Ultimate, then I might briefly cover it just to say, hey guys, it's a little bit different. But for the majority of the time, probably not. As you might notice here, I don't actually use World Edit or anything. I just do it manually the old-fashioned way. but it works for me. I don't want this as a series to turn into 20-minute videos of me smashing a tree for wood or going out mining a cave. Although I do have a survival, Feed the Beast Unleashed survival series planned. I've had it planned for a while actually. Back in the days when I started doing stuff for Ultimate, I wanted to do one. But I've been waiting for a friend of mine to sort of have the time and the equipment to be able to join me with them, because I think that sort of thing is much more fun to do with a friend. So that's hopefully the way that one is going to go down. So my tutorial series is going to be on a separate world. Which will be this world, which will be pretty much always set on peaceful, unless there's any time where we specifically need to have a mob for something, because there are occasions where certain mods and certain items require mobs or items from mobs, in which case then we might have the mobs on just for that particular episode. But one of the other things that I want to concentrate on with this, I do want to keep covering any of the mods that were in Unleashed and Ultimate that I didn't get round to covering before. Things like Applied Energistics, I will get there. As I've said before, it's not really a mod that I have a lot of experience with, so I'm going to have to kind of work out what I'm doing myself before I could even begin to explain it to you guys. And also some of the things in here, like the Tinkers mod, is something that I particularly do want to cover. Get back to bees as well, do some more stuff with forestry, and just try and cover the gambit really. But the other thing that I want to do, instead of just showing you guys how individual machines work and individual mods work, which is pretty much what I was doing on the last series, it was, okay, today we're going to look at this machine, this is how you build it, this is how it works, this is what it does, move on. A lot of people have been asking me to cover things of a procedural nature, so people want to see how you can connect different machines together and automate processes, how you can build sorting facilities. So while I am going to be showing you guys how to build individual mods and I'm going to be showing you guys how to build individual machines from the various mods and how they work and what they do. I will also be every now and then doing a video where I say, right, okay, these are all the machines that we've built so far. Let's put them all together and do something with them. Let's actually come up with a legitimate reason for having all these machines and building them, as opposed to just for the sake of building them. Now, this is also going to be partly what my friend and I are going to be doing on our survival game. So, obviously, we're going to be trying to survive. The creatures will be on. We won't be playing opt, so we won't have the luxury of being able to fly around the map and spawn stuff in. We'll be doing it the good old-fashioned way. We'll be mining for all of our materials. Of course, I might leave some of that in there, like I did with my old Magic Feed the Beast series. A lot of it will be cut out though, because I find that watching mining over and over again is quite boring. Yes, I appreciate the irony that while I'm saying that, I am standing here mining out a big chunk of the landscape, but this is just some background noise while I'm telling you guys what this next series is going to be about. So I think if I'm to summarise, it's still going to be a tutorial series. I'm going to be covering stuff that I haven't already covered in my Ultimate series, unless it differs significantly. I specifically want to cover things that are fairly unique to this mod pack, such as the Tinkers mod. And at the same time, I'm also going to be covering sort of procedures, building things, how they should all work together. So I've got quite a nice area cleared here. Let's just put that back onto daylight, and I'm going to build my new base, as it were. I'm pretty much going to build it the same way that I built the old one. I'm going to build the top out of marble. Do we even have marble? Wow, there is no marble in this version. That is strange. That can't be right, surely. There are no marble blocks. Well, okay, that's fine. I can live with that. I think what we will do is, we'll use sandstone, just for a change. We didn't do that before. And we will just use stone slabs for the basement. That's what we'll do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig a hole. Now, I always like to have a basement for my sort of workshop. And the main reason for that is I do, to a degree, like to hide pipes, cables, wires, generators and stuff like that. So the way I like to do it is dig a hole, have a basement, and then all of the sort of machinery and things can go down in the basement out of the way. Now this workshop might not be as big as the one from my previous series, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It does mean that we might have to have more than one building, which also could be good because I could do that for various different mods. So that's about the size it's going to be. It doesn't seem too bad. So I'm going to excavate this out, stop talking, and I'll cut back in when I've got my hole dug. Okay guys, so here we go. I've got the hole dug, the foundation, ready for my workshop. Didn't really take any note of the dimensions because I kind of just dug a hole until it looked the right size. I've made the hole 7 blocks deep. Now that might sound like a lot of space because you only really need 2 blocks to stand up in, but by the time I've put the floor down for this level, then you're looking at 6 blocks. By the time the floor has gone in for the upper level, then you're already down to 5 blocks. And once you start getting machines and pipes and cables and things in, you very soon run out of room. There's nothing worse than actually making a space and then finding out that it's too small, because once you start having to run pipes and cables through, you basically don't have standing room. I've made little rooms and accesses before for things. My worst one for this is always the multi-farm from forestry. If you saw the video for my previous series where I built the multi-farm and I build it partially underground with a little room access, I did that before with one so that I could literally automate the whole system and have all the automation going on underground, and everything just came up to a few chests on the surface. You threw in the materials that the farm needed on the top chest, including all of the fuel for the engines, and that all got pumped into the right places, and then all the output from the farm got pumped back out to another chest, and it was a fantastic system and it worked really well. The problem was it was so messy and complicated down there, particularly because of all the little mini sorting systems and filters needed to take the right items to the right places, that you just couldn't stand up. You couldn't actually fit in the gaps between the pipes, and I kept having to dig little channels into the wall just so it was possible to get around to the back and reach some of the little sorting chests and bits of machinery that were going on down there. So my advice is always overestimate the amount of space you're going to need. If you end up with too much space, it's really easy just to fill in a layer or build some fake walls to make a room smaller. Much better that than trying to excavate out once you've already built something. Not only that, if you do have fake walls with a 1 or 2 space gap behind it, it gives you an excellent opportunity to be able to put the pipes and cables behind the wall, keep them all hidden, keep them neat and tidy. Of course, you could go for the other approach. There are some people that like to play and just have as many pipes, tubes, cables and wires on show as possible because, you know, it looks industrious, it's kind of cool, and I agree, I can see why people would like that. I do too. Sometimes, to a degree, and I think if I'm building something that's designed to be like a sort of a factory level, then yeah, it's quite nice to actually see all the workings and have all the pipes, wires and machines on display. But when I'm building something which is either going to be a house or a little workshop, I like it to be neat and tidy, have all the machines on one level, and try and have all the power sources, all the cables, all the pipes hidden out of the way somewhere else. So as you can see, I've already got the floor filled in, that's looking quite good. I'm just going to go around now and do the walls, and as usual I will edit that out because it's really boring watching me walk backwards clicking the mouse. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so that's that bit done. It looks a little bit like a swimming pool now. We've got the floor and all of the walls in. Now, one thing that I can't do with this, because we don't have the redstone lamps like we had in Ultimate, which is a real shame, is the lighting. So, obviously once this has got the floor on for the room above, it's really going to be dark down here. And even though that I'm playing on peaceful, which means we're not going to have any mobs spawn. Well, actually, no, that's technically not true. Mobs do still spawn on peaceful. They just despawn when a player comes near. So what I want to do is keep it lit anyway, and I'm just going to put some torches down, and we'll come up with a better lighting solution as time goes on. We'll explore the lighting options that are available to us in this mod pack, and then that gives us one of our process videos. We can have a look at lighting, what's the best way to light an area. I really will miss some of the things from Red Power. I thought it was an absolutely fantastic mod. I particularly loved the pneumatic tubes. They did have their advantages over Buildcraft pipes. Of course, Buildcraft pipes did have their uses too, but I will miss those pneumatic pipes. I'll definitely miss the lamps and red alloy wire and all those kind of things. But we've got some space down here. Now, obviously, we're going to have an upper floor. The upper floor is going to... Let's move those around. The upper floor is going to be this level. So the actual floor is going to be this level here, which I will put in. I'll probably use that as the same material as the basement, to be quite honest. I think we'll have the door on this side, because this is quite a nice open side. And I don't want it too far down that end, because we'll probably just end up falling into the falling down into the chasm. One of the good things was when I actually built this hole for the basement, it didn't break into any underground caverns or lava or water, which is always a pain when that happens. So what I'm going to do is going to go back to this material and put in the flooring, but I also need to put some steps in as well. So I think what we're going to do here is we will have our floor, and our stairs will probably be... do I want them just inside the door, or do I want them somewhere else? I think I want them over in this far corner. It's getting dark, so let's just set it back to daytime. So I think like I did before, I'll have a single staircase. So hopefully we can get some steps of some description. Or is it stairs? Stairs, there we go. We will go for the stone brick stairs, I think. They will meet our needs perfectly. And we will select the right block for a start, and we will go down from here. So I'm just going to put these blocks in, close enough I suppose, just so that we actually have something to put our steps on. We can get rid of those later. What's going on here? There we go. What I usually end up doing is then hiding most of the stairs anyway. So we've got stairs running down now. So what I will probably do is, I don't know, we may use this this little bit under the stairs. It may become useful. I think it's definitely going to need a torch in there though, just because it's even more in shadow than the rest. So I can continue now to build the rest of this floor. If I build the floor out to there, that probably gives us enough space to walk down without banging our head. Nope, doesn't. It's going to be that one, I think, to be safe. Yep, that's fine. Plenty of space. And I'll build a little rail or something like I did before with some iron fencing just to stop me falling down there accidentally. So I'm going to carry on and fill the rest of this floor in. Okay, so there we go. We've now got the floor in place with our stairs in there as well. So what I'm going to do now is just go around and build the outside walls. Now, again, height-wise, pretty much should just be like the basement. You need to make sure you've got enough room to have any pipes and cables and anything else you might need running through there to fit. So don't try and limit yourself just to having a room that's 2 or 3 blocks high. This workshop probably won't be quite as tall as the one that I had in my original series, because in my original workshop it actually had a false ceiling. The reason for that was I had redstone lamps in the ceiling and they were all cabled up with red alloy wire, which was then connected up to wireless receivers, so I could turn all the lights on and off remotely with some false panels in the ceiling just to hide all of those nasty cables out of the way. So as we don't have the luxury of being able to do that on this one, this is probably going to be a slightly smaller building height-wise. Although there again, it is tempting to leave it higher just so that I've got the ability to put something in the ceiling should I need to later on. Falling down the stairs already. Again, I'm going to go for a flat roof because it's always nice when we move to solar panels to have a flat roof. It's a much better place to put them. You've noticed I'm not leaving any gaps for windows or anything like that at the moment, other than the door, just so I can remember where it's going to be. What I like to do is, before I think about putting windows in, is have a look at the building and see how big the building is. There's nothing worse than putting the windows in too early and then finding out that they just don't work because they're too high or they're too wide or not evenly spaced. I'm quite OCD about such things, and I hate having windows that are not evenly spaced out, or you've got one window that's smaller than the rest. Sometimes it does happen, unfortunately, because if you don't go through and pre-plan the size of the walls, which clearly I don't, I just kind of guess it as I go along. If you don't pre-plan the size, it's very easy to get to a position where you just cannot put in an even number of windows or evenly spaced windows that are all the same size, which is very annoying. So you do the best you can with it, but I'm not bothering with windows for now until I've built all the walls. So I'm just going to go around and finish the walls, and then I will see about putting on a roof. Okay, so I think that's the walls finished. I've gone 5 blocks high with the walls, which is probably more than enough. We can have some nice high windows to let some light in, and one of the main reasons that I have gone that high is it's always worth remembering that you are going to need plenty of space if you are connecting things together with pipes for automation. The main reason for that is because a lot of machines require you to input things from specific sides. So sometimes you put a machine up and you end up then having to move it up the wall instead of just, it's not too bad if you've got a basement because you can pipe things in from underneath, but if you've got the whole process happening up top, you don't necessarily want to pump things from underneath. But you do have that added issue where you've actually got to pump things in and out from specific sides. So sometimes you can't put all the pipes where you want them to be. And it's always worth leaving the roof a few blocks higher than you think you need to, because there are quite a few machines where you actually need to pump things in or out from the bottom. So it's worth being able to mount it on the wall and have a gap below. This is even more important if you are using lots of Buildcraft pipes. If you remember my original workshop, a lot of my stuff wasn't automated together. And even if it is, if you're using pneumatic pipes from Red Power, which I was for a lot of the stuff, then you can literally just have the filter or the can't remember what the block's called now, but it takes the place of the sort of wooden transport pipe, so you don't actually need to have that and an engine. Whereas, because we don't have Red Power in this particular mod pack, we're going to be using Buildcraft pipes. And as well as having the wooden transport pipe, you're also going to need to have the engine as well. And plus the engine needs a switch. So it does take up a little bit more space. Obviously, there are ways around that using gates. I haven't even had a look yet to see if we've still got the gates in this mod pack. If we have, that certainly makes things a little bit easier, because we can use the certain gates. I think it's the Arturic gate replaces the engine. But you need to make sure that you leave yourself plenty of space to be able to put all your engines and pipes and things in. So I'm going for this height. I'll put the windows in later. As you can see, I've just gone for some birch wood. You do get a lot of different coloured woods in Minecraft, particularly anything that has the extra trees and tree breeding in there. But bear in mind that you don't get the wooden steps in all the same colours that the wood comes in. So I've gone for birch wood for the roof. It's quite nice because it's a light colour. It works well with the sandstone and it doesn't make the building look too sort of dark and cramped. And because we've got birch wood stairs, or birchwood stairs, we can actually then go round the outside and put these stairs in all the way along the edge, and it does give us a little bit of an overhang, but I think it makes the roof look quite good. Hopefully it's still got the corner pieces in. Yes, it has. That's fantastic. So I'll go all the way around with those, and it's really quick and easy to do. Well, it certainly is if you're doing it in creative mode anyway. It's a little more difficult if you're doing it in survival, but you know, like I said, this is really just being built as a base of operations for my tutorial series. If you do want to see a survival series, like I said, there is one coming. It's in the works. We're just, trying to get our schedules sorted out so we can, my friend and I can both work on it together. And he's actually the guy that got me into Minecraft, and we used to play a lot of Tekkit together back in the day, and we did play a little bit of Feed the Beast together, though not a huge amount. But we always had massive fun, and I think that's half of what it is. I've tried to explain to you guys before that I'm not very creative when it comes to, right, what shall we build, what should we do, let's do a survival game, but well, hang on, what are our goals, what exactly am I trying to do? And I think he's much more creative than me. He's one of these guys that will go out and just build like massive castles and massive factories and huge fortresses, and he's always got ideas in his head of what he wants to build. He's very, very creative, and I had a lot of fun playing together with him, and I'm looking forward to doing a series with him because I think he'll keep me on track. So, and he knows his stuff as well. But like me, he's also quite new to Unleashed. I mean, it is a fairly new mod pack, and he's only just migrated over to it. So both of us will probably be bumbling around for a little bit trying to work out what we're doing. But hopefully it'll be entertaining, and at the same time it will still be relatively educational because hopefully we will have some idea of what we are doing, but we shall see. So I'm going to go and finish this roof, and I'll be back in a second. So the roof is done. It's a little dark in here. Let's go around and throw some torches onto the wall. Obviously this is going to be a lot better once we get the windows in, which I will go through and work out, but I'll probably do that off camera, because I'm literally just going to put some glass blocks in, and yeah, we need to work out what we're going to do about lighting in here, because the problem with big buildings is they do get quite dark. So for the time being, like I did in the basement, I'm just going to, that's in the wrong place, I'm just going to throw some torches down on the floor just to keep the building lit, and we'll work out what we're going to do with lighting, I think, in one of the future episodes. But there you can see, I mean, this is literally the same process that I followed for the other building. Obviously I put some doors on, but that's just literally all it is. Build yourself a building, not as big as the other workshop. This one is a little bit smaller, but we've got a basement, and we can use this for our power sources, so we could have some engines down here. But we will be just exploring some of the other things that are in this mod, or this mod pack. And if we go back outside, as you can see, we've got some water over there. It looks like sort of a swamp biome. We've got a good lava source over there. We have a fair few different trees around. There's a few beehives I can see already. We've got a snow tundra biome over there. We've got this chasm here with quite a lot of natural resources in it and things, as well as another one over there as well. We've got a desert biome in that direction. We've got a few sort of hills and mountains. I thought I saw a jungle biome around close by as well. So it's quite a nice little area, particularly if we want to deal with bees, because we've got a few different biomes that we can choose from without having to travel a long distance. And I've got the nice flat roof on top of the workshop that I can use to put solar panels on there. So overall, I'm quite happy with that. I think it's a good little place for me to start, and I've just got to decide now what I'm going to cover first. I've already had messages from a lot of you saying that one of the most important things to cover in this mod pack is the Tinker's Construct one, which is apparently what this book is about. I haven't opened it yet, so that's going to be my first look at that. So that will probably be my next video. So I'll get the workshop finished off camera, just put the windows in and get it all tidied up. And then when I come back, we'll be having a look at the Tinker's Workshop mod. So until then, well, okay guys, I better do this properly. I've been Unstable Voltage, this has been Unleash the Beast, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.